Support Name Explain on Patreon for ad-free videos, exclusive podcasts and blog posts, and to help choose what names get explained. Click the link in the description. Here on Name Explain, it seems like when we talk about the nation of Italy, we have a habit of focusing on just the nation's ancient capital, and of course the empire that rose from it. We have talked about why the nation isn't named after the Romans, but Romania is, and the myth behind the naming of the city. And of course the language that's popularized by Rome, Latin, is constantly brought up in videos, due to its effect on so many other languages today. But there is way more to the modern nation of Italy than just this city of emperors and gladiators. The nation as a whole is over 300,000 kilometers square in size, meaning it's way bigger than the likes of New Zealand, the UK and the Netherlands, so it's pretty darn big. And like with pretty much all nations on our planet, it's broken up into areas, with those areas being called regions. Italy is made up of 20 regions, and each of these have their own image, culture, cities, and of course names. Some of these regions are small areas of land, while others are entire islands. So today, like we've done with the likes of Germany, France and the Netherlands, let's look into how the regions of Italy got their names. Though, why don't we have a quick refresh on where the name Italy itself comes from too? Well, despite all the things Italy is known for, I don't think cows are one of them. Yet that is what the country is thought to be named after. It's believed to come from the Oscan language, an extinct language from southern Italy, name of Vitaliu, which was a name only applied to the southern tip of the peninsula. This name was thought to come from the Vitali tribe who lived there, and their name is thought to come from the Latin vitulus, meaning calf. And some even think the name Italy simply means a land of cattle. So despite everything that's happened in this land that it could be named after, it is most likely named after baby cows. Anyway, onto the regions. In the northwest corner of the nation, we have the Aosta Valley, which is the smallest region of Italy in not only size but population too. This area of land was seized by the Roman Empire in around 25 BC. Leading the empire at this time was none other than Emperor Augustus. As he was responsible for leading the Roman Empire to claiming this land, the area was named after him. So that is why this name translates into meaning the Valley of Augustus. The next region is known as Trentino Salvo Tirol. The Trentino part of this name comes from the largest city here, Cilento. This name means three teeth, which is a reference to the three hills that surround the city, nothing to do with a teething baby. The Salvo Tirol part of this name is of course a reference to the fact that it makes up the southern part of the historic region of Tyrol, with the rest of Tyrol now being in Austria, which makes things a bit more clear as to why Italy's most northern regions has south in its name. Back over in the northwest we have the region of Piedmont, and the region is heavily surrounded by the Alps that makes its way across a huge part of Europe. It's because of its location next to the Alps as to why it has this name, as it comes from the Latin Piedemontus, meaning at the foot of the mountains. And funnily enough, this isn't the only Piedmont on our planet, as the plateau region in the United States of America has this exact name too. To the east we have Lombardy, which is the most populated region in the entirety of Italy, homing around 10 million of the nation's 60 million. The name of Lombardy is thought to have come from the Lombards, a Germanic tribe of people who ruled a huge amount of Italy from 568 AD to 774 AD. Their former capital of Pavia is still within the region of Lombardy to this day. But if Lombardy was named after the Lombards, then how did they get their name? Well, there seems to be a few ideas as to how this name came about, but the most popular of them is that it comes from two Proto-Germanic words, which come together to mean Longbeard. So I imagine those initial Lombards who came down from northern Europe to claim Italy must have had rather long beards, long enough to be named after them at least. Next up we have Veneto, a region that is best known for one city in particular, Venice, and as Venice once had its own republic, it seems this region has its own unique identity when compared to the other parts of the nation, including its own language of Venetian as well as Italian. The name of this region most likely comes from the city of Venice, and the city's name is thought to come from the ancient Venetian people, but where their name comes from remains a mystery. And in the northeast of the nation we have the region of Friuli Venezia Giulia. This region seems somewhat removed from the rest of Italy, and it is shown in the languages spoken here too, as German and Slovene are spoken here due to Austria and Slovenia being close by. They also have their own language of Friulian too, which is a Romance language originating from here. It seems that the Friuli part of this name means Forum Julii, in honour of a forum built here by the Romans, while the Venezia part once again references the nearby Venice and their former republic, and the Julia part honours the gens Julia patriarchal family of Rome. Members of this family include the likes of Gaius Julius Caesar and Emperor Augustus. The Liguria region is crescent-shaped and shares a border with France and the aptly named Ligurian Sea. Its name seems to be of pretty ancient unknown origins. It seems to be named after a tribal people who lived here, the Ligures, but where their name comes from seems to be unknown. Some think it may come from the name of the longest river in France, the Loire, but we just aren't too sure. Unfortunately, this is one of the side effects of talking about a part of the world with such ancient history. As we finally start to enter the boot of Italy, as it is known as, we have the region of Emilia-Romagna. This region houses the famous city of Bologna, which lent its name to a source and a breed of dog that originated from it. While the former part of this name is now a popular feminine name, it actually derives from the name of a road, Via Aemilia, which was named after Roman consul Marcus Aemilius Lepidus and goes through this region. The latter half of this name, as I'm sure you can see, simply derives from the Roman Empire. To the south we have the region of Tuscany, a famed region of Italy known for the city of Florence, and is widely considered as the birthplace of the Italian Renaissance. It is perhaps the best known region of Italy outside of Rome. The name of Tuscany comes from the name of the Etruscan people, the main civilization on the peninsula before the rise of Rome. However, like we've already seen in this video, where exactly the name of the Etruscans came from we aren't too sure. One theory thinks the name relates to water due to the amount of rivers in the region of Tuscany. Somewhat in the centre of the entire nation is the region of Umbria. This region once again is named after the ancient people who lived here, the Umbri, and as to where their name came from we have a few ideas. Pliny the Elder thought that in ancient times they were called the Umbri, which comes from Greek and means the people of the thunderstorm, which is a pretty cool meaning. It is also from this region that a new reddish brown pigment was found and used in paintings, and this pigment / colour is fittingly named after the region, with it being called umber. East of Umbria we have Marche, which shares its border with the microstate of San Marino, which is entirely surrounded by Italy. Funnily enough, this name is actually a plural of the term Marche, which is a name applied to any kind of borderland, as in the past this land featured multiple Marche, including the Marche of Fano, Marche of Camerino, and Marche of Ancona, so this name was applied to it, even though it's a single entity now. And next up we have the region of Lazio, where Italy's capital of Rome resides. There are two ways in which we explain the name of this area. One of those are a mythological tale, in which the land was named after the Latini people who were named after their king Latinus. However, the more realistic etymology is that it comes from the Latin word latus, meaning flat and wide, in relation to how flat the land in this area is. And yes, if you didn't realise, it's from this region as to where we get the word Latin itself from. Let's take a quick detour from mainland Italy and delve into the nation's island regions. Off the coast of Lazio lies the island of Sardinia. This is the second largest island in the Mediterranean, and yes, it's thought that the fish are named after this island and not the other way around. It would be way too easy if the island was named after the fish. We aren't sure where Sardinia comes from. Some believe it evolved from the Greek name of the island, Sardo, while others believe it came from the pre-Roman name of the island, Sard. Either way, we don't seem to have any idea as to where these two old words came from anyway. However, what is of interest is how we got the term of sardonic from Sardinia. To be sardonic means to be humorously cynical or mocking, and the Greeks believed that eating a specific flower from the island of Sardinia made people pull a face like they were laughing in a cruel and, well, sardonic way. And while Sardinia may be the second largest island in the Mediterranean, first place it goes to Italy's other island region, Sicily, and surprise surprise, Sicily is named after the Sicil people who lived on the island. However, of course, as to where their name came from, once again, we don't seem to know. I'm always annoyed when I can't give you guys clear answers, but unfortunately, sometimes we just don't know. Let's head back to the boot of Italy now, and look into the region to the east of Lazio, Abruzzo. This region is one of the greenest in Europe, and a huge amount of it was made into a national park to protect wildlife and nature. This name comes from an evolution of an older name for the region, Abruzzium. This word, however, is thought to come from a combination of the name of a tribe and the name of one of their leaders. As we venture into the anchor of Italy, we arrive in Molise, which only became a region unto itself in 1963. Before this, it was just a part of the aforementioned Abruzzo region. I wasn't really able to find too much info on how this name came to be. One idea I found is that it may come from the Latin word for mill, mola. Perhaps there were/are many mills in this region. South of Molise lies Campania. This region contains many of Italy's most historic sites, like the remains of Pompeii and of course Mount Vesuvius. This name comes from Roman origins. They called it Campania Felix, and this name has been translated into meaning in English either fertile countryside or happy countryside. Whichever one you choose to translate it as, it's clear that the Romans enjoyed this land enough to create so many sites here and give it such a positive name. And as we enter Italy here, we have met with the region of Apulia, which in Italian has a slightly different name of Puglia. This name once again comes from a tribe called the Lapuds, and unfortunately their name is of unknown origin too. I'm sounding a bit like a broken record now, aren't I? At the arch of Italy's foot is the region of Basilicata. This name comes from a rather unique origin. It comes from a title given to rulers, with that title being Basileus, which was a title given to rulers of the Byzantine Empire, aka the Eastern Roman Empire. Why the title for rulers of the Eastern Empire ended up as the name of somewhere in the west, however, we aren't too sure. And finally, on the toes of Italy, we have Calabria. There's two ideas as to where this name comes from. One of them is that it comes from the Greek words meaning beautiful and vegetation, or that it comes from Latin roots meaning land of mountains. Whichever one is correct, the name clearly celebrates the beautiful nature found in this region of Italy. Just that Calabria was suggested by Carlo Federico Gizio Clea T. della Silva, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explain's patron saint of Calabria. Do you have a good idea for somewhere that's name could be covered in a Name Explain video? If so, then please consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month helps keep the channel running and earns you a weekly chance to suggest somewhere to be turned into a video, and you too could be a Name Explain Patreon saint. Thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Patreon is vital to Name Explain, and donating just $2 a month allows you to enjoy ad-free videos and bonus Patreon exclusive content. It also allows you to help choose what names get explained in upcoming videos, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you so much for all the support you guys give Name Explain. Hello all, and thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Check out another video and subscribe to stay in the loop on all things Name Explain. You can find me on Twitter, I'm at NameExplainYT. On Instagram, I'm also NameExplainYT, and on Facebook, just search Name Explain. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.